Yeah, but you criticize Israel, but do you criticize the Muslim brother?
No, but now depending what you read, because if you read the Zionist Twitter, I'm a Muslim Brotherhood. If you read,
it's so ironic. The Muslim Brotherhood kind of kicked you out.
I'm an Islam. They call me an Islamo-Nazi. I don't know what the hell that means. I'm Islamo-Nazi. I'm Islamo-Nazi. No, I'm Islamo-fascio-Nazi.
Of course, if you're going to make up words, why not add?
And then if you're Mamdani, they put a communist in the beginning.
Sure, of course. So is it communist, Islamofascist?
I feel we're collecting badges.
like Boy Scout badges.
Yeah, Boy Scout, yes. Like, I'm an Islamo-Nazi fascist.
So the more you correctly criticize Israel, the more badges you get.
Yes. And I was actually, I want to talk to Anna about this because she had this interview on her podcast with this sellout influencer Amy something, the Zionist woman, that one of those people.
Yeah.
And then she told her, like, you're receiving money from Israel. Like, I was never paid, of course. But then she said, by the way, I was already a pro-Israel influencer before even I met with Netanyahu. So even if Israel bankrolled me for this, why not? It's like, I've always been on the wrong side of history, but if they're gonna pay me, why not? I'm always been a racist Nazi, and if they pay me for this, I mean, better.
Yeah, I mean, look, so yesterday on Piers Morgan's show, I said the IDF is like the SS soldiers, everybody lost their minds, right? But I mean, imagine if somebody like that.
The SS soldiers did not live stream themselves like dancing with the lingerie of the woman who they just killed.
Yeah, well, but imagine if somebody like, was it Emily Austin?
Emily Austin.
Yeah, somebody like Emily Austin said, well, I already agreed with the Holocaust.
Yeah,
I'm just taking money from the Germans on top. That's the cherry on top.
Yeah. No, here's the thing. I have learned something looking at their debates. They have the audacity. They have this kind of audacity that they don't care, and then they hold you on much higher standards than they hold themselves.
Of course.
So they, whenever you say, like, I'm again with Emily Austin and Anna, I was like, oh, you hate Jews. Like, I never said anything about Jews. But then they are free to say everything they need about Muslims, about how Islam is a radical ideology, about everyone is Hamas, everybody is Islamists, everybody is everybody that. And then if you even try to criticize Zionists who are not Jews, oh, you're hating the Jews. They are not interested in any kind of conversation. Like now when you have this thing that's like, oh, when she was like imitating Larry Ellison, and it's like, oh, she's doing a Jewish impersonation. Who mentioned Jewish? If it is in your brain and you're putting it up front, and then at the end of the day, what they want, they put a video that nobody will watch, and then they will write text that will describe something else happened in the video.
Yes.
You see, I'm sure that you have this, Shane said so, and you never said that.
No.
Because nobody reads, it's always about the headlines.
Yeah, so two things about that. I mean, it happened to me just yesterday, but the one you're referring to when Anna did the hand thing, Canary Mission put up like the happy merchant meme, which I didn't even know, as if it was on there.
Yeah.
Like they right before the clip that they said, and right after we said, we explained how this is not about Jewish American brothers and sisters, and blah, 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 blah. Went on for like 5 minutes about how great Jewish Americans are. So they cut that out of the clip.
Of course.
They put the happy merchant meme. It's all doctored.
They know what they're doing. And it's kind of, I'm sure that everybody's on Twitter or on social media have noticed how the Zionist bots are just like out of control. They're like locusts now. Whenever you do, they have like a coordinated attack, and it's the same 50 accounts that you see all the time.
Yes.
And they copy paste their stuff, and they just like that repost. It's just like a swarm. It's a swarm attack.
Yeah, so, well, there's a couple of things about that. Number one, they made the mistake of slightly admitting it because they had Israel hired SKDK.
Yeah.
So that's the Anita Dunn's group, that she was the top advisor to Joe Biden.
Yeah.
It's like the top PR company in Washington. And somebody from SKDK said, yeah, we're gonna use bots to help Israel.
Yeah.
So they're just saying it.
They're just saying. So that's why it doesn't mean anything. Like I don't know anybody who has actually the audacity to defend Israel unless they are a bot or paid or just some Indian dude who's like also paid for that, because the Indian accounts are just like going out of hand. The Indian Zionist accounts are crazy. Like,
my favorite is when they pretend to be other people.
Oh yeah.
Like,
it's like when I was a little girl in Tel Aviv, dude, you're living in a slum in Karachi. What the hell?
So those are the bot farms that they're using in India and other places.
Yeah.
And then you got the folks who are pretending to be like that. My favorite the other day was, I'm a Turkish woman and she's got Elif, which is a Turkish name, and the Turkish flag in her handle. Just so you know, she's a Turkish woman.
Yeah.
Okay. She's like, and I am disgusted by your anti-Semitism. I love Israel so much. America should be giving more money to Israel.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, sure. You're a random Turkish woman who's obsessed with America giving more money to Israel.
Yeah, you see, that will not even, like, even a Turkish person who likes Israel will never say that in public.
Exactly. Like, what? Because it's so random.
No, because the thing is, they are never interested in conversation or debates. They're interested to creating noise and confusion. Like any point has a counterpoint, even if the counterpoint is bullshit. I just like fill it with a counterpoint. I fill the air with that, because if they do that, they will already have ammunition for whatever it is to keep the noise going. Although you know that's wrong, but it doesn't matter. They need to just speak up.
Yeah. So Bاسم, that was invented originally by the cigarette companies, right? The tobacco companies.
Yeah.
So we don't need to get them to believe that cigarettes are good for them.
They need to be confused.
We just need them confused, so they're not sure if it causes cancer.
Exactly.
Then the oil companies did it with climate change, and then Israel's like, oh, that's perfect, because we don't need them.
I think Israel has been doing it way before these people.
Well, yeah. Which brings me to Candace Owens' point. So these are all banned people. She's banned, you're banned, I'm banned, but here we are.
Yeah.
You know, so she said, in a moment that I thought was actually startling. Oh, I get what happened my whole life. I was taught to hate Muslims, so that when Israel said that we had to attack them, I was primed for, well, of course we have to give Israel money to take the occupied territories. And of course we have to attack Iraq because of fake weapons of mass destruction information, plus the dirty Muslims. Of course, I mean, they happen to be Israel's #1 enemy.
Yeah, and the thing is, the way that they do that is, remember how the most common phrase Ben Shapiro and the likes use, there's no moral equivalency. There's more and more rivalry between Israel and Hamas. There's more rivalry between us and the enemy includes everybody. And then Noam Chomsky has an incredible video where he said, like, moral equivalency is a term that was invented by colonizers as a propaganda machine in order to prevent people to look at their own actions. So now they divide people into good guys and bad guys. So the good guys can do whatever they want, even if they nuke the bad guys. And the bad guys are always in the wrong, even if they defended themselves. So now Israel can do that, like they can just like wipe out like millions of people. Oh, they're the bad guys.
Yeah.
That's why when we were like and watching like Westerns, you've seen like Indians, Native Americans killed with hundreds, and you cheer because they're the bad guys. It's the same thing as zombies. You don't feel anything for zombies. You don't feel anything for vampires. You don't feel anything for savages. And this is why you're allowed to go in and nuke and throw napalm and create. And this has happened throughout American history. I mean, I'm still figuring things out. But like when I read a little bit about the Korean War, which is the forgotten war, and it's forgotten for two reasons. It was between two major wars, Vietnam and Second World War, and it's forgotten because nobody talks about it. Because if people talk about it with numbers, how many Vietnamese did America kill over 19 years of war in Vietnam?
A lot,
between 3 and 4 million.
Yeah, that sounds
They killed
right.
about the same number in 3 years in Korea.
Wow, I did not know that.
Like about between 2.5 to 3 million people in 3 years. Can you imagine? This is like the Gaza Strip 0.5 in 3 years. They eliminated 3 million people. That's crazy. You see the number? That's why they never talk about it. And the atrocities that they did, there's like very known massacres that happened, that they would kill 250,000 people in 5 days.
That's unbelievable.
And the whole thing about napalm and like, so this all happened in Korea. Korea has that's why nobody talks about what happened in Korea, because How can you justify that?
So what's ironic about that is that then they'll use that and go, see, we did that in North Korea.
Exactly.
In Korea,
we
so
did it.
Why doesn't Israel get to murder all the Palestinians?
We had slavery before. Why not bring it back again? I mean, like we have you know, we used to rape women and enslave them. Let's do it again. It happened. Let's nuke them. It's crazy.
And part of the reason they do that is because it's a rhetorical trick where they want to say, are you blaming America for nuking Hiroshima or Nagasaki?
Yes.
Are you blaming America for murdering all those Koreans?
Yeah, and every time it's like Dresden was a war crime. Dresden was a war crime. And the fact that like the victors did it doesn't negate the fact that it was a war crime. And the fact that you just like can't bring like bad examples of history, it's like, hey, it happened before, it can happen again. And the reason why this whole International Court of Justice and the UN was created so these atrocities doesn't happen again.
Yeah, it was literally because of those atrocities that the world got together and said
never again.
Let's not do this again.
Never again.
Right.
Never again.
Robert McNamara was the Secretary of Defense, I believe, during the Vietnam War, but he was the main statistician and planner during World War II. And he has a famous line about, well, if we had lost, we would have been tried in the Nuremberg trials.
Yeah, 100%.
He said, well, of course. He said, we firebombed Tokyo and killed 500,000 people.
Unnecessary.
That's before the nukes.
And they raped 500,000 women in Germany. When they went into,
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No,
dude. You have to. 500,000 women was raped in Germany when the Allied and the Soviet forces were there. The Soviet did most of the raping, but there was like 500,000 women raped.
So look, guys.
So just like the old people like talking about raping on the higher moral grounds, and you know, it just like it doesn't work anymore.
Look, we're having an adult conversation here, right? So just because the Soviets and maybe some of our guys raped a lot of German women doesn't mean the Germans were right. Right?
No,
but two wrongs can like two things can be true at the same time. The Germans were horribly wrong in the Holocaust, but that didn't mean that we should firebomb Dresden, we should firebomb Tokyo, we should drop nukes.
But they would blanket everybody as a Nazi, blanket everybody as an Islamist, blanket everybody as Hamas, so you don't have to think too much about it.
Yeah, and so I read some firsthand accounts. I love history. So when I was in college and in law school, I studied international war crimes, and I studied genocides, I studied these topics. And one of the things is in Europe, the Turks were considered constantly propagandized as the barbarians. The barbarians at the gate, because we came all the way up to Vienna, we took Southern Europe, right? So every piece of propaganda was horns and demonic. And so like if you kill a Turk, you're doing God's work, right? So that's exactly to your point. But that was centuries ago, right? And so here we come all the way up to yesterday, and to prove your point, Randy Fine and I were on Piers Morgan together, and he said, well, you know, you're a Muslim. And
did he eat up Piers Morgan because that guy is so...
Yeah, I know, he joined live from a buffet.
Okay.
So even I get to make that joke because of Randy Fine. Okay, anyways, and he said, well, Israel is surrounded by Muslims.
Yeah, and
that's it. And like that's the justification for killing
all Muslims. Oh my God.
And then, by the way, then he'll say you're an anti-Semite if you criticize Israel. So wait. Saying we should kill Muslims just because they're Muslims is not bigotry, but criticizing Israel's genocide is bigotry.
But you see, he knows who he's talking to. He's not talking to you. He's not talking to your audience. He's talking to the people in the middle who doesn't know, and he talks to his audience who's like, yeah, Muslims are bad. Like they're surrounded by vampires. They can do anything. You see, they have done their homework over 70 years. And all of the movies that have been done. Now I look at remember True Lies?
Oh yeah.
Directed by James Cameron, who directed Titanic, who directed
Avatar.
Yes, and then it's like this. They are like outside of New York and Los Angeles. There are like people in America will have no idea about what a Muslim is other than that movie or similar movies.
Yeah.
And so they have been embedding this into people's mind for so long that now we have to work from all the way back. It's like, guys, we're humans.
Yeah.
We deserve to live like you. We need to have like an equal level of conversation about what does it mean to have a human life.
Yeah, so when I was a kid, since I loved history, I wondered what I would do if I was, alive during the Holocaust or any of these big genocides, right? Or what I would do if I was alive during the Civil Rights Movement, right?
You would do exactly like what you do now. Can't do anything. we are helpless. And the thing is, we know this whole fantasy about like if people knew all the way, all the time. We knew, and now we know. Like, why go far? Look at the Iraq War. Do you remember the demonstrations? Thousands of people, similar to the Palestinian, millions. And everybody know that like Colin Powell was lying, and everybody knew it was lying, and then they did it anyways. And this is the thing about what is happening in the West world right now. It is like kind of like shocking for many people like me who wanted to come to America and believe actually America, stands for many of those values of freedom and transparency. Is that they have told us many times until today, we are going to do whatever we want, and you can scream and shout about it, but nothing will change. A case in point: forget wars, forget Gaza, forget everything. We now know, all of us, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that our leaders are all pedophiles and predators and rapists. And they are covering up for the Epstein file. We know. Like, everybody knows. And it has become so public knowledge that like everybody is joking about it. In late night show, hey, our president is a pedophile. Our president. And just people are talking about it as if we're talking about the weather. We're so desensitized, like, yeah, half of Congress must be in those files, and that's why they're not releasing it. And they are in this position. And this is why I remember how Americans would make fun of us, like, oh my God, like, you cannot talk about anything. You cannot talk about how corrupt your politicians are in the Middle East. That's why nothing never changes. But here, we can talk about everything, but nothing ever changes.
Yeah. So I actually...
We're in the same position.
Yeah, I'm way more optimistic than you because I'm seeing a lot of things change right now. And so we could...
No, I'm the pessimist.
No, I know. We'll debate that. But I think that the big difference, and first I'll go make your point, right? So mainstream media in this country, I think, are actually the biggest liars.
Oh, yeah.
They claim that they're the most objective.
The Iron Dome of Israel.
Yeah, and so they are in a lot of ways, right? So they're the ones who smeared Muslims our whole lives. Candace is right about that. It wasn't the dentist who did it. It was the media who did it.
Yeah.
And it was, back then, there was no online media. All there was mainstream media. They did it. They lied over and over and over again, smeared all Muslims, protected Israel in every imaginable way.
Yeah.
And if, unlike today, if you said anything critical of Israel, even the slightest bit, 2 years ago, you're instantly fired, instantly. It's an automatic death sentence in your career in media or politics if you said something against Israel. So, and then, by the way, you'll say, well, that seems like you're controlling anyone who is against you, and they'll say, how dare you, you're fired.
Yeah. Well, how dare you say something that's so true? You're anti-Semitic. It's so anti-Semitic to say what's happening in front of your eyes.
And that's why I'm going to fire you. Well, you're proving my point.
Yes.
You're proving my point, right?